So look carefully at the two drawings on page 8. This is taken with my iPhone out of the book. And corporate life cycles, there, the top one, starts with a couple of people in a solar system, and now you've got a full network, and then you begin to see a hierarchy, and then you've almost got equal solar system network and hierarchy, and then a tiny solar system left, and then nothing but hierarchy. And so if you look to the right of that drawing, a brief look at corporate life cycles, the book covers this, but I put it in my wording. Stage 1, networks, no hierarchies. Stage 2, networks, some hierarchies. Stage 3, networks and hierarchies. 2, hierarchies and networks. Stage 4, hierarchies, some networks. Stage 5, hierarchies, no networks. Now everybody take your pen and write down stage 6. And then one word, goodbye. Now that's the story. And if you think that it's made up, then let me remind you that Kodak is bankrupt. That Research in Motion, BlackBerry, is in super big trouble. That the place I used to sit and browse with books, Borders, is gone. What happens is the world is changing, and the parade is about to pass you by, and it is basically impossible for an established hierarchical organization to not end up saying goodbye. This book says this more clearly than any book I've read. And if you look just below that to the solution, the dual operating system, that's the bottom image. What John Kotter proposes, and John Kotter is no lightweight. He's had many best-selling books. He's a Harvard Business Review Press, Accelerate, Building Strategic Ability for a Faster-Moving World. In a minute, we're going to read a number of quotes that back this up. But here's what he says. It ain't going to work anymore. It's not going to work anymore. We've got to change it. And so what has been done the last 20 or 30 or 40 years is tiger teams, project teams, skunk works, but it's all set within a hierarchy-driven organization, and he says that worked for a while, but it's not going to work anymore. So that's what this book is saying. Now, all right, page 2, why this book matters. The pace of change really is a much, much faster pace. An organization has to be more nimble or else. Number 2, the old systems, processes, hierarchies cannot adjust to the new speed of change and threats. And this new speed will only accelerate to an ever greater speed. Let me remind you that BlackBerry was not dominant all that many years, and they were felled in one fell swoop in 2007. It took a few years for it to happen, but now every audience I go to, I ask, raise your hand if you've got a BlackBerry. This week, 1. Raise your hand if you used to have a BlackBerry. The whole room. The whole room. So, something different has to be done, has to be built, has to be fully embraced at the organizational level. Number 3, this will require, here's the complement to Carl's book, leaders to lead at least as much as, no, much more than, managers to manage. 5 takeaways. Number 1, morale matters. And hope matters. You got to have people who believe we can have a future here. The dual operating system makes that possible. Number 2, good execution of yesterday's strategy is no longer enough. You really can't execute yesterday's strategy and have a tomorrow. Number 3, strategic planning has to be done more often with more flexibility to change. The world is moving too fast for the old corporate calendar of strategic planning sessions. Put a star beside that one. If you plan for 2 years, it's 2 years too late. You got to be nimble. Number 4, from within seems to work better than from without. Consultant written statements and plans don't cut it real well. And number 5, in a world of accelerating change, organizations simply must make organizational structure changes. It is truly change or die time. The dual operating system or something like it has to be embraced and implemented yesterday. Accelerate, building strategic ability for a faster moving world. It gets the problem well. Hope you found this useful. Thank you very much.